Hi, my name is Nancy Allen. I serve as the Executive Director of the National Consortium for Health Science Education. We're excited to be with THOA again this year. We were with you in person last year in College Station. We're doing a virtual participation this year, and hopefully we'll be back with you again in 2023. Just a little bit about our organization today and how we can be helpful to you as a classroom teacher and what you do to serve those students that are interested in health professions. We have some strategies in place that we think can be supportive to you to really help your program stand out and the work that you do that really makes a difference in the lives of young people. The National Consortium has been around for 30 years, and we're very proud of that. In 2021, that was our anniversary, our 30-year anniversary, and we were able to celebrate that this year at our annual meeting. And Jackie Uselton was with us. She serves as your executive director there for THOA, and we really are enjoying the partnership that we've developed with THOA. Just a little background, and certainly don't expect you to memorize this, but just this timeline is on our website, and it chronicles the beginning of the consortium and where we've come and where we are now. And just as a way of background, the consortium was developed in the early 90s, and it was under the Clinton administration when career and technical education was being organized around career clusters. And one of those clusters, as you know, and the best one, is health science. And so the U.S. Department of Education gave us a grant to help develop consistency for health science programs across the nation by developing standards and a model that could be used across the nation. And so we were pleased to be the advisory group for the Health Science Career Cluster. And over the years, we've had some major milestones in what we've been able to do. And we're going to concentrate a little bit on the places where I have marked here with an arrow, one being our teacher organization, the Health Science Educators Association, also our curriculum framework that's based on the National Health Science Standards. I'm going to speak a little bit about our National Health Science Conference that'll be coming up in October this year, and also some resources that we have that we want you to be aware of in case they are something that would be of help to you in the classroom. A little bit about our core values. We truly believe in networking and collaboration and how that can strengthen what you do in the schools where you work. Also, kind of a two-pronged approach for career development for teachers, and also some career development for the students. We're going to tell you a little bit about the health science framework that creates consistency across the nation of what is delivered in a health science classroom at the secondary level. I'll speak a little bit about our National Health Science Standards and also education for future health professionals and some resources that are available to you. Mentioned first, networking and collaboration, because we know how important that is to teachers to have friends who do what you do, either down the hall or in other schools or in your school district or even across the nation. So it was about 3 years, 2018, so 4 years now, we developed a membership category under our umbrella of the National Consortium for Health Science Education, and it is known as the Health Science Educators Association. And so let me go back. I went a little too fast there. So what we want to do is connect you with a professional learning community. These are your people. These are people in Idaho and South Carolina, in New York, who do what you do, and they have best practices to share. You may have great work to share with them, but we want to make this a place where you can exchange ideas, where you can express concerns, where you can lift each other up. And so this arm or this membership category has been extremely popular. We are not trying to take the place of the good work that ACTE, or the Association for Career and Technical Education, does for our teachers. We're just trying to supplement down to the classroom level. ACTE has a large presence on the Hill, and they are wonderful in their advocacy for funding for career and technical education. And we're extremely grateful to them for the work that they do. And they have a health science education division as well, of which we are members, and they are very supportive of the work that we do through the Health Science Educators Association. So when the association was developed and launched, we really did some homework and met with some teachers and talked about what would be a fair price for an annual membership fee. What do teachers really, how can we be helpful to teachers? And so we came up with a magical number of less than $50. So the annual affiliation fee is $45 per teacher. However, in Texas, we have entered into a partnership with Texas, and I'm sure you'll be hearing about that. If you don't hear about it while you're at the conference, I would invite you to reach out to Jackie or Regina, and you probably know those names as you get information from them about the conference, but they can tell you how you can join THOA and also get the membership benefits for the Health Science Educators Association. It's a community of classroom teachers. We now have about 1,800 members across 48 different states. We even have a member from Australia. We have a member from Great Britain. And so we know that we've sort of made an impact and people are looking for support. So if you're a member of our organization, you get exclusive classroom resources. So right now it's in a Google Drive. We're in the process of maybe changing that to a password protected site on our website, but it is extensive best practices of PowerPoints, lesson plans, activities, projects, assessments that we've collected over the years or gotten from teachers. And we have them in a nice place, in nice folders labeled topically by our standards, or either things like HOSA, bell ringers. We have sports medicine folder. We have a phlebotomy folder. So just a quick glance, you could go there and get activities, lesson plans, just like I said, to support the work that you do. Also, teachers who are a member of our teacher organization get discounts on our resources, and I'll speak a little bit about that in just a few minutes. I do invite you to look into the partnership that we have with THOA and how your fee would actually be reduced from $45, but they've kind of combined it with the THOA fee and a reduced fee, a group affiliation fee. So you may want to look into that, because teachers always want more stuff, right? We always want more. We do have 10 states who have affiliated groups of teachers, and they get a discount. And so Texas now joins Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky, Michigan, Oklahoma, Oregon, South Carolina, Wisconsin, and West Virginia. So Texas is a leader in those 10 states. This is just an example of activities that we have on our on those exclusive classroom resources. You may have seen this one if you're a member of our Facebook group, but we have activities like this that give you step-by-step of ways to engage with your student, lots of anatomy and physiology on there. And so I just want you to see an example of some of the fun and engaging activities and projects that we have available to HSEA members. This has been extremely popular, our Facebook group. You don't have to be a member of the association to be a member of the Facebook group. You do have to answer a couple of questions that ask you if you're a health science teacher, and maybe a little bit about if you'll be well behaved on the in the Facebook group. But right now, I think we have about 2,100 members of this group, and we are so encouraged when we go to this page, and we see teachers putting out requests for, does anybody have something on cultural sensitivity? Can you tell me how you do your CNA skills? How about work-based learning? What kind of documents do you use for that? And the amount of support and sharing has just been phenomenal. And teachers will go here to this files, and they will upload if someone's asking for a lesson plan, or someone's asking for a PowerPoint, or something that they need for their classroom, then the teacher who's willing to help. And it's amazing because many of us are health professionals are willing to help. And so it's there, and you can, and they'll upload the files, and then you can just go there and download them. So I invite you, if you are on Facebook, to consider joining this Facebook group. I think you will be amazed at the willingness of other health science teachers all across the nation who have good items and good content to share. We also have heard from we have 34 states that are affiliated with the consortium. That is 34 health science state leaders who work at their state education agency, and their primary responsibility is support for the health science programs across their state. And so we've heard from those 34 health science state leaders to say, our new teachers really need help. And we know that many of us were health professionals who transitioned over to the high school classroom to engage young people in health professions. And it was like learning on the job, right? We took some courses, or we went through some seminars, or whatever was required in our prospective states to become certified to teach health science. But it was almost like you're hired, you go in the room, they close the door, and you're supposed to try to stand on your head and entertain these students and help them learn what they need to be successful at the next level if they go on to a health science major. So we listened to our customers, and they said, could you do something for new health science teachers? Now, we understand all across the nation there are different requirements. So we're not trying to meet the needs of the hoops that you have to jump through to be certified to teach, but we do want to give you some practical strategies to engage with your students. And we said, well, we won't just limit this to new health science teachers, because sometimes experienced teachers need a little inspiration as well. So this will be free for everyone, and it's going to be on a Saturday. We try to accommodate all the time zones because we do have friends in Hawaii, and there's a 6-hour time difference from the Eastern time zone, but we'll start at 12 noon on Saturday, August the 20th, and we'll go for 5 hours. We are looking forward to a national presenter, Michelle Deck. I'm going to go to the next slide, and you can hopefully see a little bit about what she's going to deliver and talk about: setting the stage for learning, how to engage your students, how to assess learning styles, some simple and free technology to use that would work with your students, how to really start those first days of school to set you up for success for the rest of the year. And we are excited that some of our officers from the Health Science Educators Association, who are classroom teachers as well, they're going to share some of their best practices, 10-minute quickies like, this is what I do on the first day. This is what I do during the first week. This is how I set the seating chart. Just practical kind of strategies to implement that maybe you hadn't even thought about. I am a nurse, taught health science for 13 years, and I'm married to an educator. And I remember when I got the job to teach, my dream job, right? Because I needed summers off. I remember him saying to me, what are you going to do on the first day? And I'm like, I'm going to pass out the textbooks. He's like, well, what else? I'm like, well, that won't take the whole time. So he was a good coach for me to help me understand that you really have got to have something prepared. You've got to plan for success, and you've got to have something from bell to bell. So we're excited about this opportunity. There will be information on how to register. If you go to healthscienceconsortium.org, it's not there. It will be there in June. And so I'm recording this in June. So as you're hearing this, it'll be on our website to be able to register, and it's free. A little bit about career development and where we see our responsibility for that. We're looking at the teacher and his or her development through things like professional development. As I just mentioned, one of those being the new teacher or experienced teacher, best strategies for a successful year. And we do also offer free Wednesday webinars. We do those starting in September, and we go till May. And we do usually 2 a month, and they're kept to an hour. We do them either 3 to 4 Eastern or 3:30 to 4:30 Eastern, but they're all recorded because we know that doesn't suit everybody's schedule. But I invite you to go to our website. Right on the homepage, you'll see a tab that says webinars, and we archive them all there. So there's some great content there that might be helpful to you in your classroom. Some of the webinars are appropriate for students. We talk about everything from classroom strategies to certifications to organ transplant, opportunities for students, work-based learning. So take advantage of our Wednesday webinars. They're free, and we send out registration materials in our newsletters that go to the Health Science Educator members, but the registration is always open to anyone, and it's the fall schedule will be posted there in August. Every year, we sponsor the National Health Science Conference, and this coming year, or in October, we'll be in Charleston, South Carolina, lovely, #1 tourist city in the United States, Charleston, South Carolina. So the conference begins with a pre-conference on October 25th, a Tuesday, and then goes till noon on a Friday, October the 28th. All of this information about registering, about call for proposals, everything is, if you go to healthscienceconsortium.org, it's right there on the homepage. We also know that teachers can be sometimes a little timid about asking to go. They don't feel worthy, or they don't think they'll get approved. And we think it is such an investment by your administration in you to prepare you for success in the classroom. And what a better way to do that, to be at the only conference that's 100% national conference. Your conference there in Texas is 100% health science, but this is a national conference. And so we've created a letter, kind of a request to attend letter, and the template is on our website. You can go in there. It's in Word. You can, complete it. You can tweak it. You can make it your own. You can add in your school name, why you want to go. But we did give you sort of an outline of what it would cost. Understand that we don't know flights and that type of thing, but it gives you maybe a little bit of confidence if you're requesting to attend, to use the letter and really advocate to your administration about why you need to be in Charleston. We do offer a discount for anyone that is willing to present. Teachers love hearing from teachers. We know that. And so we're accepting call for proposals through August the 19th. And the primary presenter, if two teachers are presenting together, only one would get the $100 off the registration. But what a great way to really, propel you to say to your administration, I've been selected from a large number of people who want to present at this conference. I've been selected to present. It will look so good for our school. So I invite you to consider presenting and joining us in Charleston. I talked a little bit about career development for teachers, how we like to support you with professional development, but also we want to think about your students and what we can do for them. And so we have a certificate program. It helps to guide what you're teaching. It provides some accountability, and it validates learning for your students. So we partner with U-Science, and we have a large array of certificates of value. They are not right to work, but we have 23 end of course certificates. And then we have an end of program, our National Health Science certificate that measures what a student has learned throughout their 1, 2, 3, 4 years of being a part of your program. And we love this quote from one of our teachers who said, students have something tangible to take with them, no matter when they leave me or how they come in. So they can take this certificate that has the standards printed on the back. They could add it to their resume, to their scholarship application. If they're seeking a job, they can say, this is what I learned. These are the standards that I mastered when I was in high school. How many students can do that, can really say, this is what I learned in high school? But these certificates allow them to do that. So these are the 23 different end of course certificates that we offer our students. And so there's everything from dental to sports medicine. And when you go to the U-Science website, you can see the framework of what the certificates measure, and you can kind of match that to see if that's what you teach. There is a charge of $8. It's computer-based, so it also prepares your students to sit for certifications in the future. And we know that most of them are computer-based, so it gives them sort of that experience of being able to do that. So right now, they're $8, but on July 1, which is probably when you're listening to this, will be $10 for member states. In Texas, THOA is a member of our organization. And then for the end of program, the biggie is $15, and that's the National Health Science certification based on the National Health Science standards. I mentioned in the beginning that when we got the grant from the U.S. Department of Education, one of the goals was to create a framework that what a student learned in Texas was very similar to what a student was learning in California. Not that course titles were all the same, not that everybody was using the same textbook, but that there were broad foundational standards that were transferable to many, many health professions, and that this framework could be used to design curriculum, to design assessments. And so that health science standards are really a framework that provide essential knowledge and skills for students to understand this is what we're going to be learning, for teachers, for educators to understand this is what I need to teach. And like I said, for states to use to design curriculum and assessment certificates. Okay. All right, sorry. We would hear on occasion from certain states who maybe were not as far along as you are there in Texas with your course titles, course descriptions, what you're going to teach in each course. But sometimes states would say, we look at these national health science standards, they seem a little overwhelming. We know that they really aren't a course, but they're standards. But we want to know what to teach when. When should we teach medical terminology? When should we teach anatomy and physiology? And so we did a lot of research across the nation, and we took our standards, those 11 broad foundational standards, and we divided them into a 4-course framework. So so on our website, you can go to, there's a tab that says curriculum, and you can see what is included in each one of these courses. We didn't change the standards. We just grouped them in an order that we felt like was a progression for students moving through a health science education program. So it starts with the foundation of healthcare professions, then moves on to essentials of healthcare practices, and then anatomy and physiology and diseases and disorders. And these are essentially just the body systems divided, like this is 6 or 8 body systems, and this is 6 or 8 body systems. But we felt like these were more of an upper level junior senior course, because if students are leaving you, going on to 2 or 4 year college and universities, then they're going to be required to take an anatomy and physiology course. So wouldn't it be great for that to be fresh, that they would have had that a little later in their high school career than early on? So all these 4 together, we do have a certificate for each one of these. And if they passed all 4 of these, then they get credit for the National Health Science certificate. That's the end of program. On our website, we do provide some free items, so we invite you to go there. I was speaking specifically today to this curriculum crosswalk because occasionally teachers will say, I don't know if I teach all the standards. I really don't know. And the standards are downloadable and free on our website. So you can go there and look at them and kind of decide whether you do teach them. But we also have a template there where we took the standards and we put it in a Word document. So you can say, yeah, I teach that in health science too, or I teach that in principles of health science. So when you are deciding whether the certificate of value is something you want to offer your students to set them on their path, then you want to make sure that they're being tested on what you've taught. So this template gives you an opportunity to crosswalk and see, yes, I am teaching that. I teach it here. I teach this here. And so free resource there on our website. I've talked a good bit about the National Health Science Standards. I hope you're familiar with them. If you're not, I invite you to become familiar with them. They were first released in 1995, and the 11 broad foundational standards have really not changed. And they are academic foundation, communication, health systems, let's see if I can, employability skills, legal, ethical, safety practices, teamwork, health maintenance practices, technical skills, and information technology for healthcare. So those broad 11 foundational standards have not changed since they were released in 1995. And I'm giving myself a thumbs up because I named them all. What we do at regular intervals is that we look at the objectives underneath those standards to make sure that they're still current, that they're still rigorous, that they're relevant. And so the last time we looked at the standards and made any changes to that information underneath those broad 11 standards was in May of 2019. And it was a small group, and the changes there were not a lot of changes, but we provided a little more detail at the request of educators. And over this spring, we launched a big review project where we sent out the standards to business and industry, to educators, to hospital systems, to post-secondary, because we want to know if what we're teaching is preparing students that they get in their programs. And so we completed that review, and we had numerous career specialty areas looking at these standards, not just nurses. We had physical therapists, we had public health, we had pharmacists, we had occupational therapists, we had radiology, dental, lots and lots of different career specialties. To be able to say, what would you recommend? Is this appropriate? The way it's written, how would you improve it? And we are very excited that we'll be looking at the standards, and we'll have the new refreshed standards ready for the upcoming school year. So if that's of interest to you, if you are looking to be certain that your program is aligned to what health professionals across the nation believe students need to know and be able to do, then we'll be pushing that out on our website and through newsletters. And we're just excited about the refresh and how it can improve work that we do. We do have a close relationship with HOSA, Future Health Professionals, and I know many of you are probably also HOSA local chapter advisors. Each year, we collaborate with the leadership of HOSA, and we look at their competitive events program, and we crosswalk it to the National Health Science Standards, so that when a teacher is teaching CPR and first aid, then he or she can look across and say, oh, I can reinforce, I can use the competitive events program to reinforce what I'm teaching in the classroom. I know many of you know that they have great free downloadable rubrics for their competitive events, but we appreciate that they see the value of the National Health Science Standards and that they complete this crosswalk annually so that students and teachers can see how we're all kind of in this together and all interested in consistency within the classroom. Our last core value, education for future health professionals. I mentioned earlier that we do have a couple of resources. We are not trying to take the place of the wonderful resources that our partners who are publishers and educational resource providers of the work that they do. They're great. They're good at it. That's what they do. However, on occasion, we know that teachers like to hear from teachers. And so the health science curriculum enhancements have been around for about 10 years. And each time the standards are revised, we have to refresh the enhancements because we want to make sure that our curriculum is aligned to the current standards. And these curriculum enhancements were released in August of 2020. And they are based on strategies to help you deliver the National Health Science Standards. So there's over 600 files, PowerPoints, PDFs, Word documents, assessment items, websites, classroom strategies to really help you teach the National Health Science Standards. They are downloadable and available to you if you are a health science education. Well, any teacher in Texas gets a $150 discount because THOA is a member of our organization. So instead of being $500, the health science curriculum enhancements are $350. You download them, you save them to your learning management system or to a flash drive or to your hard drive, and they become your own. And it is a per teacher charge, but they are in Word. So if you needed to submit a lesson plan, I don't know if you still have to do those kinds of things, but you can tweak them, to meet your needs. So just wanted to tell you about that resource that's available at our online store. We also have just one other resource, our work-based learning guide, and that was released in September of 2021. Both of these resources, the enhancements and the work-based learning guide, if you go to the webinars that are archived on our website, you will find a webinar that was delivered by the teachers who wrote these two resources. So if you're thinking if this might be something you want to purchase for use in your classroom, but you aren't really sure, there's a table of contents for the work-based learning guide on our website. Also on our website, the enhancements, there's some free examples from the this resource. So you're able to kind of get a sneak peek of what, what's contained in these two resources. This work-based learning guide is $200 for non-members, but for all Texas teachers, it's $150. And it also is downloadable in Word and PDF and has lots of resources, and it has forms, and it has activities to prepare your students to be effective in their role as interns or shadowing or clinical rotations. There's also clinical rotations of 20 to 30 different areas within a hospital or healthcare facilities that is almost like an interview that your students can take with them. So they're not standing over in the corner, but they really, it's based on, what area they're in and what questions they could ask, and kind of build in some accountability for you, and also engage with the health professional. I mentioned a little bit about our resources, and we really are proud of them. We've had many compliments on them, but we also have great relationships with publishers and educational resource providers and professional associations. So within our network, within the Health Science Consortium, we have 26 different publishers and educational resource providers, and their names are on our website. But what we appreciate is that they also value the National Health Science Standards, and many of them have used those standards within their textbooks or within their online curriculum to help us create consistency across the nation. So those two resources are really probably all that we will ever develop, because we have such strong relationships with these 26 providers, and we aren't trying to take the place of the good work that they do. We also have professional associations who are members. Project Lead the Way is a member, NAF, the National Academy Foundation. We have the Dental Assisting National Board, also Pharmacy Technician Certification Board, Speech Language Hearing Association. Those professional associations that are interested in your students. They're interested in knowing what happens in Texas. They're interested in knowing what courses you're teaching. They want you to know about the careers that they represent. So we are appreciative that they see the value of being a part of our network and being in close relationships with what happens in the high school classroom. It's really our goal to be a big support for you. There again is our website, healthscienceconsortium.org. I invite you to go there and download some free resources. When you download your free resources, it also gives us your email address, and then we'll put you in our database to be able to receive newsletters and announcements about things like Wednesday webinars or the conference or other projects that we might have going on. So in summary, I appreciate you dedicating a little bit of time to hear about the National Consortium for Health Science Education. We work with health science state leaders who are at their departments of education. We also work with teacher organizations like THOA. We work directly with some secondary and post-secondary schools. We work with the publishers and resource providers, as well as professional organizations. It's a great network, all with a vested interest in preparing the next generation of healthcare professionals. We look forward to helping you develop your career through professional development, and also through certificates of value for your students to document and to confirm what they've learned in high school. We invite you to become familiar with the National Health Science Standards and our framework to be sure that what you're teaching is aligned to those standards. And also invite you to consider resources for the classroom to educate your students if that's something of need to you. Thank you again. This next slide has my email address, nancy@healthscienceconsortium.org. Also on our website, there's a hello@healthscienceconsortium.org. Laura Morris from Oklahoma is our board chair, and her email address is there as well. We're here to help you. We're here to be a support. We'd love to see you in Charleston at the National Health Science Conference. We'd love to see you at some of our upcoming Wednesday webinars. We hope you will consider joining the Health Science Educators Association, and certainly consider joining the Facebook group for health science educators. With that, I wish you, I wish you a restful, if you have any of your summer left, and I wish you a great 2022-2023 school year. And don't forget, you can come to our Saturday seminar on August the 20th. For you, it would be from 11 to 4, completely free. It might just set the tone for success for the school year for you. Thank you again, and best wishes for the upcoming school year.